All right, so I just want to say good morning, everybody. It's 10 a.m. exactly. We have a quorum, so let's get this started. We're conducting today's meeting virtually. We have 2 more committee meetings this year. We've got our in-person one, which is going to be in August, on August 21st. We normally have our November one in August, or in our November meeting is the live one, but that seems to be a heavy conference schedule for folks. So we had to cancel last November's because we had most of our members not able to attend. So we switched it, the live one to August, which everybody so far seems to be able to attend who has RSVP'd. So we're happy about that. Everybody likes the in-person one. We get to see each other and have, have some collaboration in person, which is nice. So then our final meeting of the year will be another virtual one on November 13th. We normally have it on the 3rd Thursday of the month, but that is right around Thanksgiving. So we anticipate that we would have problems again, even virtually. So we're doing it a little earlier on November 13th this year. So that will take care of that. So the first order of business is we need to call this meeting to order. So this meeting is now called to order. We will be meeting from 10 a.m. into completion of all agenda items. And as usual, I'll start off with a couple of housekeeping items. I've gone through all of these before, but I do feel that they do bear repeating. Starting off with legislation, we have seen more than our fair share of heavy, complex legislation recently, most notably our sunset bill that was signed into law late last year. We've had a lot of changes imposed by the legislature in the last 4 or 5 years, and these laws are complex. They've changed multiple requirements. They can be confusing. We always encourage everybody to reach out to our generic email inbox, which is bsis@dca.ca.gov. If they are simpler inquiries, we get the responses out within 48 hours. Especially if there's something like, where am I, in the licensing process or processing times, we can answer those quickly. The more complex and technical ones can take up to 1 week to 2 weeks to respond to, sometimes longer if we have to do a lot of research on it. But rest assured that upper management, we sit down once a week with all the complex questions that come in, and we respond to them on a weekly basis, if not more often as they come in. One other quick point I will say is with all of these changes, we have seen an uptick in licensees reaching out to us asking how to get around laws. Unfortunately, as the regulator, we discourage that, and we are not able to give you guidance on how to ignore legislative mandates and laws. So I'm sorry, you're not gonna get our help, unfortunately, in trying to not comply with the legislative mandates and the laws. Okay, so our first agenda item is our roll call. Our policy analyst, Valerie Peterson, will be calling our roll this morning. Val, if you could go ahead.
Sure, good morning. So I will be calling roll for the BSIS Advisory Committee meeting on Thursday, April 17th, 2025. Shannon Baritzoff.
I am here, thank you.
Anton Farmby. Frank Huntington.
I'm here.
Mark Miller.
Here.
Darren Morgan.
Here.
Chris Sayers.
Here.
Leon Scroggins.
One moment.
Oh, Leon,
Mr. Scroggins has just arrived.
I'm here.
Angel Yanez.
I'm here.
And Glenn Younger.
Okay. So next up is our review and approval of our meeting minutes from our last meeting on August 15th, 2024. Al, can you get the approval, please?
This is Frank Huntington. I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the August meeting.
Thank you, Frank. I skipped that part. Appreciate you remembering.
Leon, we second that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so voting, here we go. Shannon Baritzoff.
Yes.
Anton Farmby. Frank Huntington,
Yes.
Mark Miller,
Yes.
Darren Morgan,
Yes.
Chris Sayers,
Yes.
Leon Scroggins,
Yes.
Angel Yanez.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Does anybody have any questions or comments on the approval of minutes from last August?
Am I the only one that's hearing the double feedback? I hear your voice repeated twice every time you talk.
I believe it's because you're logged in twice.
Let me look and
So
see
I
here.
can, if you see two WebEx screens, like one on top of the other, I'd say go ahead and X out of one of them.
I think I just did. Appreciate
Okay.
that.
Perfect. Thank you. That should help.
Appreciate that. I
How
gotta
how
get
do I
back
sound
into
now,
it.
Leon? Are you able to hear just one of me?
I am here, able to hear everything. Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
realize I had two open.
Very good. Yeah, nobody wants to hear two of me. Okay, all right. So, anybody have any questions or issues regarding the approval of the minutes? Hey, oh, there I am. Okay, if not, I'll ask for a motion in a second. You know what? We've taken care of that. This meeting is going gangbusters. Thank you to Frank and Leon for doing a motion in a second. Okay, so if there are no questions from the advisory committee members, are there any issues or questions from the public? Comments on this particular agenda item number 2.
This is the moderator, and if anyone on WebEx would like to make a comment on the minutes, you may look for the hand icon at the bottom of your screen and click that to raise your hand. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hands. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with a 30-second warning. Are there any comments on the minutes? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I go ahead and close public comment?
Yes, please, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to the next agenda item, which is the update from the Department
My
of-
apologies, Chief Jensen. I did
Yeah.
have a hand go up just at the
okay.
last moment, and I'm afraid I've lost it again. If you had a comment on the minutes or a comment on a technical issue and you had your hand raised, would you raise it again, please? And Carl Vinson, I'm going to send you a request to unmute your mic, and then you'll have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
So this is my first time. I'm sorry. This is my first time on this meeting, and I'm looking to learn a lot of things for how things goes and how you operate. My question is, how often do y'all have these meetings?
So Mr. Benson, yeah, thank you for your question. We have them 3 times a year. I did go over that just a couple of minutes ago. We were having this one, we have our next one in August, and then our final one of the year in November.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
No worries.
All right, I do not see any other requests for comments, so shall I close that comment period again?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
And if nothing else, we're gonna move on now to agenda item number 3, the update from the Department of Consumer Affairs Executive Office. We have today Leslie Barmby from DCA's Executive Office. So welcome, Leslie, and feel free to kick it off whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, thanks. Good morning, everyone. I am Leslie Barmby from the Department of Consumer Affairs. Thank you for the opportunity to join you today. In January, Governor Newsom released his proposed 25-26 state budget, which included a proposal to split our current Business Consumer Services and Housing Agency into 2 state agencies. There'll be the California Housing and Homelessness Agency and the Business and Consumer Services Agency. The proposed California Housing and Homeless Agency will oversee housing and homelessness solutions and safeguard civil rights. The Business and Consumer Services Agency will be responsible for consumer affairs, licensing, and enforcement. The Department of Consumer Affairs will be among the 8 entities in the new agency. As part of the process in state government, on April 4th, the governor's reorganization plan was delivered to the nonpartisan Little Hoover Commission for review. The submission of the plan to the commission began in an approximate 90-day formal process. In the coming weeks, the commission will conduct public hearings for interested parties to provide input on the proposed reorganization. The date for these hearings will be announced soon. After the hearings and within 30 days of the plan being submitted to the commission will write a report that it will submit to the governor and the legislature. The commission's report will offer a recommendation to the governor and the legislature as to whether it believes the reorganization plan should go into effect. The commission sometimes offers recommendations for how the plan could be strengthened, either through administrative action or subsequent legislation. The legislature will then have 60 days to review and consider the reorganization plan. The governor plans become effective on the 61st day after it is given to the legislature, unless either the Senate or Assembly adopts by a majority vote a resolution to reject the plan. If approved, the Business and Consumer Services Agency will be created in July 2025, with 1 year of transition, and will become operative on July 1st, 2026. In addition to several virtual briefings hosted by Secretary Moss, there is detailed information available on the reorganization plan website at https://bcsh.ca.gov/about/reorganization. We believe this is an extraordinary opportunity for DCA to better align with other consumer protection entities. With a dedicated consumer protection focused secretary within the governor's cabinet, this is an exciting opportunity that will only strengthen our mission and momentum and delivery of services to California. DCA will continue to keep the board and bureau leadership updated on progress of the governor's reorganization plan. Next, on March 3rd, 2025, Governor Newsom issued an executive order requiring all state agencies and departments to update their hybrid telework policies for employees and increase from 2 to 4 days in office per week beginning on July 1st, 2025. On March 13th, 2025, the California Department of Human Resources issued guidance on implementation of the executive order. The guidance provides defined parameters for when agencies and departments can make case-by-case exceptions to the 4-day in-office minimum requirement. DCA has been working closely with a few programs on identifying additional space needed for this transition. DCA has been working hard responding to questions and will continue to keep leadership updated on any additional direction received from CalHR. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here today, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Do any advisory committee members have any questions on Leslie's update?
No.
Just to do a quick summary, they're splitting up our sort of mother agency, and we're going off to, they're splitting it, like the housing stuff is going to go to one agency, and then the DCA stuff and some other things are going to go to a different agency. So it should not impact anything on our day-to-day operations. We're just going to report to a different chain of agencies at this point.
Lynn, what's the name? What's going to be the name of the new agency that DCA is under?
Right, and I should know that, and I don't. Leslie, what's the new one that we're under?
We're the Business and Consumer Services Agency.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's still pending the recommendation from Little Hoover, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other advisory committee members have any questions? Okay. Seeing none, I'm going to open it up to public questions on this particular agenda item.
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the DCA update, you can look for the hand icon at the bottom of your WebEx screen. Or if you're on a mobile device, your hand icon might be behind the three dot other options. And click that to raise your hand, and each speaker will have 3 minutes with a 30-second warning. Any comments on the DCA update? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that public comment feature?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Leslie. We all appreciate your time coming here to let us know what the latest is from the executive office.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so moving on to agenda item number 4, this is the Chief's welcome and Bureau update. As always, I want to extend a warm welcome to all of our committee members, especially the new ones. A big thank you to those of you who have been serving for years. I appreciate all of it. We're always so thankful for your time, even though this is just 3 times a year. It does seem to come pretty quickly every once in a while. It sort of catches us all by surprise that, hey, it's that time again. So I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules. I know all of you guys are running businesses and have a lot of demands on your time. So we always appreciate this. I do want to announce that we have several openings on the advisory committee for public members. So all of our industry folks are in their seats. So we're super happy about that. Now we need 4 public members. So if you're interested in serving in this committee, or you know somebody who's interested in serving on this committee, please let me know. We will reach out and start the process. The committee members are appointed by the director of DCA, not the governor, and you can access an application through the DCA's homepage at dca.ca.gov, or you can go ahead and email me or anybody in the bureau, and we will get you those instructions on how to start the process. So moving on to updates. First of all, just a brief legislative update. Thankfully, we have a relatively slow legislative year compared to previous years. We'll be giving a more full update later in the meeting on what's going on in the legislature this session, but no sunset bills, no training redos, nothing like that. We have a couple of groups that are running bills in the legislature in our Practice Act this year, but we're just keeping an eye on them. So, you know, fingers crossed, no crazy new requirements at the beginning of next year. We will, as with all state workers, the governor has issued a directive to all of us that we must be back in the office 4 times a week starting July 1. Please note the Bureau has been doing 3 days a week since the beginning of the pandemic because we are still a very paper-heavy Bureau, and we have a public counter that is open from 8 to 5 daily. So we have always been here. I think the only time we closed during the pandemic was for a 10-day period at the very beginning when we had our first case. And, you know, that was when everybody had to shut down for 10 days. Other than that, we have been open every day since. As an FYI, our disciplinary review hearings have been in-person only for some time now, and they will continue to be in-person only. There is no virtual option for them. And speaking of virtual options, as always, I encourage everybody to apply online. Apply and renew online. It is so much faster than paper applications. And the thing that I like about the online application process is it lets you know fairly quickly if you've made sort of an obvious mistake on your application. You know, it'll send you an error message, it'll refuse to proceed, and that helps reduce deficiencies, and it also helps us get the applications processed a lot quicker. We also encourage everybody to email rather than call the Bureau, as the calls go to the DCA General Call Center, and they're great folks, but emails go directly to BSIS staff, and we can get you an answer quicker, and it would be, it could save you some time just hanging out on the phone. So continuing with Bureau updates, what I'm going to do is jump over to the Bureau's budget analyst. We have a new budget analyst. It's a gentleman named Julian Lux, and it's my understanding he will be giving the budget update. Welcome, Julian.
Hi, thank you, and good morning. Yes, my name is Julian Lux, and I am the new budget analyst with DCF Budget Office. And I am joined with my budget manager, Susan Balkis. First, I would like to thank the Bureau and executive staff for allowing us a few minutes today to present on agenda item number 4, the Bureau's expenditure projections, revenue projections, and fund condition statement. First, I'm going to start with the Bureau's expenditures projections. These projections are based on actual data through the fiscal month 8. This report includes 2023-2024 actual expenditures that you can see in green, as well as 2024-2025 budgeted and projected expenditures in blue and orange, respectively. As we move to the end of the document, you will see the Bureau at a beginning base budget of $17.972 million, and the Bureau is projected to spend around $16.784 million, which is creating a reversion to the Bureau's fund of approximately $1.18 million, which is a reversion percentage of 6.61%. The next document that I will be going over is the Bureau's revenue projection. This report includes receipts collected through February and projected revenue to the year end. I will go further into the projection as we transition to the next slide. The next document is the Bureau's fund condition statement. As a reminder, we read this document from top to bottom and left to right. The left column is the Bureau's prior year 2023-2024 actuals. It shows that the Bureau began 2023-2024 with a beginning balance of $6.458 million. The Bureau collected $17.987 million in revenues, with $7.458 million from initial license fees, $8.904 million from license renewals, and $1.625 million was collected from the issuance of citations, fines, delinquent fees, and other revenue. The Bureau expended $15.986 million, which includes $1.283 million in direct draws to the funds for the statewide pro rata and pension payments.
Julian, it looked like you may have locked up.
I agree.
We'll give him a minute to see if he can log back on. If we have trouble with him, Suzanne, are you prepared to?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'll give him another few seconds, and if he can't log back on, then we'll have Suzanne, who's also here from budgets. Okay, Suzanne, do you mind taking over at this point?
Of course.
Thank you.
Just seeing where he stopped at, and I would just continue. If anything, I might start a little bit with the fund condition, but so the Bureau for 2024-25 expenditure, we're going to start with the 24-25. So for current year 24-25, the Bureau is projected revenue of $18.09 million, with $7.01 projected from initial license fee.
Sorry. Did you guys? Oh my God! When did you lose me?
Probably about 3 minutes ago, and Suzanne stepped in.
Oh my God!
You keep kind of locking up now. So, did you want to try and finish it up, Julian?
Yeah, I can finish it up. Where were you at, Suzanne? I'm sorry. I apologize about that.
It's okay. I started again from 24-25.
All right. So for the current year 24-25, the Bureau projects revenue of $18.098 million, with $7.018 million projected from initial license fees, $9.446 million from renewal fees, and $1.634 million from the issuance of citation, fines, delinquent fees, and other revenue. The Bureau's 2024-2025 expenditures are based on the government's budgets, with FM8 projections at $17.867 million between authorized expenditures and direct draws to the fund, leaving the Bureau with a fund balance of approximately $9.128 million of 5.14 months in reserve. The Budget Office will continue to monitor the Bureau's revenues and expenditures and report back to the Bureaus with monthly expenditures projections as we continue to close fiscal month in the current fiscal year. A few things to note of the Bureau's fund condition. The fund condition is a snapshot in time. One of the main factors driving expenditure increases in future years is the result of personal service adjustments. This includes general salary increases as well as employee compensation and retirement rate adjustments. The Budget Office includes a conservative ongoing 3% increase to expenditures on the fund condition statement to account for these ongoing incremental adjustments. You will also notice revenue is projected static in the out years. Lastly, I would like to note to the Bureau that any future legislation or unanticipated events could result in the Bureau need for additional resources, which will create cost pressure on the fund. The Budget Office will continue to monitor the Bureau's fund condition statement and keep the line of communication with the Bureau's executive staff open for any future needs or expectations. Again, thank you so much for allowing me some of the time today and the opportunity to present. And I'm happy to answer any question that you may have.
All right, thank you. So first, we will move to the advisory committee meeting members. Advisory committee folks, do you guys have any questions for our budget people? Nope. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands go up. Okay, moderator, can we move quickly to the in-person room? Do we have, Val, do we have anybody in person who wants to chime in?
We do not. We have Christopher in person and that is it. No other,
Okay.
no public.
Okay, thank you. So then moving on to folks in the audience, do we have any public comment or questions on the budget presentation or any updates at this point?
And this is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the budget report, you can look for the hand icon and click that. If you are on a mobile device, the hand icon might be behind your 3-dot other options. And if you are a calling user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with a 30-second warning. Any comments on the budget report? I do not see any requests to comment. Shall I close the public comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And then what we will do is move on to the next agenda item, which is our licensing update. Our Chief of Licensing, Andrea Daly, will be presenting on behalf of our licensing unit, and we will also be presenting our staff report during this item as well. So Andrea, if you would like to kick it off.
Of course, thank you. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. So over the past several months, we've been working diligently to complete both application updates and BSIS updates so that we are in line with the new requirements that took effect on January 1 of this year for both private investigator qualified managers and private patrol operator qualified managers. The private investigator qualified managers, which we refer to them as PIQs, who wish to be associated with more than just their own sole proprietorship private investigator license must now apply for a qualified manager's license. Once that license is issued, they are also subject to renewal. It will have an expiration date of 2 years, and so they will have to navigate through that renewal process. The BSIS has been updated to where those transactions, they can submit initial applications and renewals once they have secured a license online. That should be wrapped up within the next 2 months, and so that will be available to everyone. To date, licensing has received approximately 12 PIQ license applications and has successfully issued our first PIQ license certificate in March of this year. Additional information regarding the PIQ license certificates and licenses, are available on the Bureau's website. And you can also, we're here for questions. So if you have any additional questions about how to navigate through that process, you can send us an email. There is a PI investigator email account dedicated specifically to all PI questions. And we also have our general email box that you can send us a message and we'll be available to assist. PPQ, which is the Private Patrol Operator Qualified Manager certificates, also now have an expiration date and certificate holders are subject to renewal. The first phase of PPQ renewals have opened and certificate holders have begun to complete their renewal applications online, which is recommended as the certificate will be renewed in real time. For renewal applicants that elect not to complete their renewal online, we also have a renewal form available on the Bureau's website that can be mailed in with the renewal payment. To date, licensing has processed a total of approximately 130 PPQ renewals beginning in March of this year. Application processing times are also available on the Bureau's website. The web page is updated weekly. The page provides information for current processing times for employee and weapons applications by giving a target time frame as well as a date of applications that are currently being processed that were received for both online and paper applications. We are currently working on updating that page to include the same information for all company applications and qualified managers. And our goal is to have this completed before our next advisory committee meeting. So that's all that I have. If anybody has any questions.
I'm gonna have the staff do their update and then we will open it up for questions. Yeah, so we're gonna roll all the staff update into licensing and Val, I think that's you doing that as well, right?
The administration update?
Yes, administration update.
Okay, sure. So the staffing update for policy administration. The Bureau, sorry, I guess I should change the screen. The Bureau has 73.9 permanent full-time positions in addition to temporary staff. Let me get there, sorry. Whoops. There we go. Sorry about that. As of February 1st, 2025, the Bureau has a 4% vacancy rate, which equates to 3 vacant positions. And management is working to fill all positions as soon as possible. And that is that for the staffing.
Yep, thank you. Yeah, we're pretty excited because this is a historically low unemployment rate for the Bureau. We have in recent years gone as high as close to 40% vacancy at some points. So we're super excited. Unfortunately, part of that did come as a result of a reduction in force that the budget circumstances last year unfortunately put us into. So we did lose 4 staff. But we are almost fully staffed, so we're pretty excited about that. We're also getting a student assistant back. We're getting 2 part-time student assistants, so that's another exciting update that we have. And hopefully, we're going to be, imbuing the younger generation with a sense of excitement about working at the Bureau. So, maybe that'll translate into a bunch of people coming here and we're hopeful. We're hopeful. We're a great place to work. So thank you for that update. Okay, now for the licensing update, I think that's it at this point. So I'll open it up to advisory committee members for anyone to ask questions or share comments on this particular agenda item. Yes, Leon.
Yeah, between this report and the previous one on the budget, are you anticipating, if I'm understanding correctly, there's increased fees coming this budget year? Plus, are you also anticipating increases in the numbers of licensees? In other words, that there'll be more employees hired by our industry during this fiscal year also, or is it just strictly from the increase in fees that's going to increase the amount of money in the budget?
I mean, there's always a number of factors that go into the budget. You know, it's an increase in fees is part of it. We also have, you know, a couple of laws that went into effect that put new license requirements in place. Those are more moderate. They're not, you know, they're not really like a budget buster sort of wonderful, you know, income, the new license types. Yes, we are doing a fee increase because as Julian did say, this is a snapshot in time. We have had at various times in the last several years, not great budget news looking out several years. And so the fee increase, I'll just take a minute to talk about it now because this is going to be coming up a little bit later. The fee increase happened back in 2017 and 2018. We did audits of the two funds that we had at that time, the private security fund and the PI funds. They have since been merged, so we only have one fund. But the auditors recommended back in 2017 and 2018 that we increase our fees by 40%. The chief at that time did not increase it by 40%. She thought that that was far too high a jump for the licensees to absorb in a single year. So we went up to 30% and we have a 10% cushion. And that 10% cushion is we went ahead and you know, pushed the button on that late last year when we were looking at a budget that did not look that great at that snapshot in time. And so we are moving the 10% fee increase forward. Keep in mind, it has already been approved by the legislature. And we are just doing up to the ceiling, which we were allowed to do 8 years ago. So that's sort of the background on the fee increase. We're doing okay. But again, we don't know what we're heading into in the next few years economy wise. So we want to make sure that we do have at least, we're not going to be in the red, you know, in budget year +1. So that's a little bit of background on that, Leon. I hope that helps answer your question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other advisory committee members have questions on the budget or a licensing update at this point or staffing update? No. Okay. All right. I'd like to open it up for public comments and questions on this particular agenda item.
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And if you are a call-in user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. Are there any comments on the budget report or the licensing report? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close the comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 6, which is our update from Bureau's enforcement unit. Our semi-new enforcement chief, who started last fall, but we did not introduce him during the November meeting because it was canceled. Super awesome guy. We're super lucky to have him. MJ Abdelsalam, and he will be presenting today on behalf of the enforcement unit. MJ?
Good morning. My name is Mejdi Abdel Salam. I am the new enforcement chief. I've been here for a cup of coffee, around 6 months. It's nice to meet all the committee members, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all in person. I will begin with the unlicensed activity, which is an ongoing priority. 25% of all pending investigations involve unlicensed activity. 51% of citations issued this fiscal year were for unlicensed operations. Alarm company operators accounted for about 5% of complaints. Unlicensed activity continues to be a top enforcement priority, making up a quarter of our open investigations. Over half of our citations so far this fiscal year were issued for unlicensed operations. Regarding enforcement workload and case management, average caseload per analyst is roughly 56 complaints and 14 inspections, and the average case resolution time is 69 days. Our enforcement analysts are managing substantial workloads while maintaining an average 69-day resolution timeline, reflecting the unit's strong commitment to efficient and thorough investigations. Staffing update. Strengthening our leadership. Our enforcement manager role has been vacant since February 2025. A candidate has been selected and is expected to start on April 23rd. We're excited to welcome the new enforcement manager in the next week, which will provide much needed support and structure to the enforcement team. regarding industry outreach. In March, we attended the Sacramento Area Alarm Association meeting as part of our ongoing outreach. We discussed unlicensed activity, how to report unlicensed activity, current enforcement data, and how licensees can support our investigations. We emphasized the importance of reporting unlicensed activity and working together to protect public safety and integrity of our profession. Our complaint trends for fiscal year 2024 to March 2025, PPOs are roughly 45% of complaints, security guards are 30%, alarm operators roughly 5%, and the remaining license types make up the final 20%. With 80% of our complaints tied to PPOs, guards, and alarm operators, we're seeing where violations are concentrated and directing resources accordingly. Consumer impact, 26,365 in consumer restitution savings through complaint resolution. Our enforcement isn't just about discipline, it's about protecting consumers, and we have already secured over 26,000 in restitution and savings this year. Our work has a real impact. And that is the update that I have. Thank you.
Thanks, MJ. Like MJ said, you know, the #1 complaint that we get, and it has always been an issue, is unlicensed activity. So with MJ in place, we are shifting and really going after the unlicensed activity in a lot newer and hopefully, you know, as effective ways. We just sent folks out to Coachella for the first time for unlicensed complaints there. We managed to find some violations there, alleged violations there. And we are getting out to places that we haven't before, thanks to the new special investigator designations that we have. And we're really, really pleased with how the program's coming along. So with that, I will open it up to advisory committee members on questions for our enforcement chief on this particular agenda item. Yes, Leon.
I noticed that the repossession agency's complaints are 45%, and we're, as a group, one of the smaller groups of licensees. Is there a way after the meeting that I can get some kind of, I don't know, summary on what types of complaints the Bureau's dealing with for an educational purpose?
I think so. I mean, Sam, we can give generic information out about types of complaints, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done that before with PIs as well, and trying to address some of the larger enforcement issues that we're seeing.
Yeah, that would be helpful in my interaction with licensees. If I could find out what types of complaints you're receiving, maybe I can find a way to address some of those.
No, absolutely. That would be lovely. All right. Any other advisory committee members? Any questions for enforcement on the enforcement item? Okay, I'm not seeing anybody, so let's kick it open for public comment or questions.
This is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on the enforcement report, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. Our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with a 30-second warning. Are there any questions about the enforcement report? And I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that public comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're going to move on to the public comment room. Val, do we have anybody there who wants to comment on this issue?
We do not have any public in attendance.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next agenda item number 7. This is the update on the 24 and 25 legislation impacting the Bureau. We're including last year's summary because the meeting we normally summarize it at, which is the November meeting, was canceled. So Val, who is our hardest working staffer here today, is going to be reading the legislative update. So please go ahead, Val.
Okay, bear with me. I apologize. It's a bit lengthy today. So I'm going to quickly try to summarize last year's bills, beginning with Assembly Bill AB 2120. So this bill would have exempted licensed repossession agencies and their employees from certain prohibitions against trespass while searching for or repossessing collateral while on private property, and would have required them to leave the property within a reasonable amount of time upon completion of a search or repossession. This bill was vetoed by the governor. And then coming up on our Senate Bill 1454, the BSIS Sunset Bill. This was approved by the governor and filed with the Secretary of State on September 22nd, 2024. It includes extending the BSIS sunset date to January 1, 2029. The bill requires a mailed notice of seizure from a licensed repossession agency to be addressed to the current address of the debtor if known, and authorizes the Bureau under the Collateral Recovery Act to cite persons for violations of the Act or other BSIS regulations. This bill also extends the sunset authorization dates of licensed private investigators and alarm companies to be organized as an LLC to January 1st, 2030. This bill also deletes several exempted entities from the Proprietary Security Services Act, while exempting federally recognized tribes that have one or more employees who provide unarmed security services only for the federally recognized tribe from the provisions of the Proprietary Security Services Act. This bill requires a firearm applicant to successfully complete a written exam and use of firearms training course certified by a Bureau approved trainer within 6 months prior to submitting the application, and also requires a baton permit applicant to successfully complete a course of training in the use and carrying of a baton within 6 months prior to submitting that application. This bill limits the exemption pertaining to the course of study in the use of firearms for peace officers to be completed within 24 months preceding the date of application, and the requalification training requirement to be completed within 12 months preceding the month of the permit's expiration. Beginning July 1st, 2025, this bill will require a written agreement between a licensed private investigator and a client. A signed legible copy of the agreement and investigative findings must be maintained by the private investigator for a minimum of 2 years and be made available for inspection by BSIS upon demand. Now, an update on bills that BSIS began tracking at the beginning of this year's legislative season. Beginning with Assembly Bill 558, this law would specify that, quote, alarm system includes a video system in which an analog or digital video signal travels from the camera to video monitoring stations. If engaging in the activities of an alarm company operator, that will include the use of an alarm system. Alarm company licensure will be required. The status update as of this report was that it was referred to the Assembly Committee on Business and Professions. Second bill, Senate Bill 652. This law would require an applicant for a security guard registration to complete a course in the exercise of the power to arrest and the appropriate use of force by a single course provider, and to be completed within the 6 months preceding the date the application is submitted to the Bureau. The bill would also require a statement of training course completion to include that the course was completed within 6 months preceding the date the application is submitted to the Bureau. Status update as of the time of this report referred to the Senate Committee on Business Professions and Economic Development. The third bill, Assembly Bill 667. This law, beginning January 1st, 2026, would require boards under the jurisdiction of DCA to permit an applicant who cannot read, speak, or write in English to use an interpreter to interpret the English, verbal, and oral portions of the license examination at no cost to the applicant if all other requirements for licensure are met. Status update as of this report was referred to the Assembly Committees on Business and Professions and Health. The fourth is a Senate Bill 470. This law would delete the January 1st, 2026 Bagley-Keene Open Meeting Act repeal date, thereby authorizing a state body and multi-member state advisory bodies to hold a meeting by teleconference subject to specified requirements and alternative teleconferencing provisions indefinitely. Status update as of time of report is referred to the Senate Committees on Governmental Organization and Judiciary. The fifth is an Assembly Bill 742. This law would require boards within DCA to prioritize applicants who are descendants of slaves seeking licenses, especially applicants who are descended from a person enslaved in the U.S. Provisions of this bill will become operative only if Senate Bill 518 is enacted, establishing the Bureau for Descendants of American Slavery, and when the certification process to that measure is established. Status update as of this report date was referred to Assembly Committees on Business and Professions and Judiciary. The sixth bill is Senate Bill 641. This law would authorize boards under the jurisdiction of DCA to waive the application of certain provisions of law if there is a declared federal, state, or local emergency and the home or business is located in the declared disaster area, including certain examination fee and continuing education requirements. Status update as of time of report is referred to Senate Committees on Business, Professions, and Economic Development and Public Safety. That's it. Elaine, did you want me to hold off on the reg reading? That was it for our bills.
Lynn, you're muted, I believe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking for quite some time. Okay, yeah, no regulations. That's the next agenda item. So we'll close out this one first. Val, is there anybody in the public comment room? No, I'm assuming. Okay. All right. So no comments from committee members, no comments in public, and let's open it up for virtual attendees to ask questions or comments on this particular agenda item.
And this is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on any of the legislative items presented, you can look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. And if you are a calling user, you can press *3 to raise your hand. Each speaker will have 3 minutes for their comment. Are there any comments on the legislation? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please, moderator. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, next up we have agenda item number 8, which is update on enacted or pending regulations. Val, kick it off.
Okay, so this is BSIS's update on enacted or impending regulations. First one is fees. So California Code of Regulations, Title 16, Division 7, Article 8, Section 638 to 642.5. This regulation package has been submitted and has completed public comment as of March 31st, 2025. A notice has been posted on the Bureau's website. Second regulation is the exam application repeal, terminology, and training related updates. For California Code of Regulations, Title 16, Division 7, Section 601 to 643. And this regulation package is currently approaching production phase. A notice will also be posted on the Bureau's website for further information.
So just to summarize, we have 2 packages coming up. One's much farther along. That's the fee increase. And then we have what we are calling internally sort of our technical amendments and corrections bills. And these are the ones where we've, had typos here or there in our regulations or in our training materials. And we are going to be rolling that out in the not too distant future. I don't have an exact timeline on that yet, but this will help make some just minor and clarifying changes to some of our material. And with that, does any committee member have any questions on this agenda item? No? Okay. All right. Public room, I'm assuming no comments there. Okay. Moving on to virtual attendees. Kick it open for public comment or questions there.
And this is the moderator. We are now taking comments on the regulations portion. If you'd like to make a comment, you can click on the hand icon to raise your hand. Or if you're on a mobile device, your hand icon might be behind the 3 other options. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with a 30-second warning. Any comments on the upcoming regulations? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Okay, moving on to public comment on items not on the agenda. This is agenda item number 9, And this is strictly for public comment. I'm going to assume nobody's in the downstairs room still. And
That's correct.
okay, so then we will just move on to virtual attendees. If we have any suggestions or comments on items not on the agenda, here is where you get to weigh in.
And this is the moderator. If anyone would like to make a comment on something that has not already been discussed, you may look for the hand icon and click that to raise your hand. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. We do have a request for comment from Carl Vinson. Carl, I'm going to send you a request to unmute.
Yes.
Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yep.
Yes. Awesome. So the question I have is, let's say the licensing or the application is taking a bit too long. So would it be better to email the direct contact rather than call, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Email, and usually these status checks, like, hey, where's my application in the process? They usually don't take too long. Our folks are pretty good about getting back to you quickly on that one. But yeah, email is
Okay.
better than calling.
So what would email that you would suggest to use?
Sure, that would be BSIS@dca.ca.gov. And if you need me to repeat that, let me know.
Okay, what you said again? I'm sorry. Last comment.
Yeah, it's BSIS
Mhm.
at dca.ca.gov.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we do have a comment from James Barker. James, I'll send you a request to unmute. And go ahead. Yes, James.
So the question I have is, we're seeing more and more robotics and electronic systems protecting sites. And I was wondering if a study's been conducted to see the impact on private security in California.
No, no, there might be other entities that do that, but the Bureau is strictly a licensing board. We don't do research projects.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, wish I could have a better answer for you, but.
All right, and at this point, I do not see any further requests for comment. Shall I close the public comment feature?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next up, we have committee members, agenda item number 10, committee members' recommendations for future committee, advisory committee meeting agenda items. Sorry, did that make sense?
Chief, this is Frank Huntington. I don't have any recommendations, but I guess this is the proper time to say that the next meeting, August 21st, is the first day of the Cali Annual Conference, so I will not be able to attend that one.
Okay, good to know.
My
Thank you.
apologies to the committee. Sure.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have anything that they want to discuss at the next time? Anything in your particular field? No? Okay. All right. Okay, well, if that is all, I think this is a new record. We are done in slightly less than an hour. So I want to thank everybody once again for coming to today's agenda or advisory committee hearing, and we will see you all in August. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Good meeting. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.